You know, the challenge is you got to rebuild with a lot of new players who will be younger, have new roles, less experience, and how do they respond, you know, to these new roles. And I've been pleased so far with the way our players have embraced the new roles, the new responsibilities. We're going to be a work in progress, and that's going to be critical to our success.
Welcome, everybody, to another edition of the Nick Saban Show, along with the head coach of the Alabama Crimson Tide. I'm Chris Stewart. Our show brought to you by Truck Works. And, Coach, congratulations not only on a 42-35 win over Arkansas, but another SEC Western Division title.
Well, you know, it's something our players have worked really hard for. It's been a very difficult season. We've had a lot of close games, but I was really proud of the way the players competed in this game tonight. And we had a lot of opportunities to put the game away, and we seemed to shoot ourselves in the foot, whether we fumbled the ball on the 2-yard line or got a penalty that took us out of field goal and then get a sack and then miss the field goal. So we had lots of opportunities to put the game away, whether it's what we did on offense or the mistakes that we made on defense and special teams with the fake punt, fake field goal. So a lot of things to learn from this game. A lot of things to work on to try to improve on, which I think is going to be very necessary. But at the same time, I'm really proud of the way our players hung in there and competed in the game and just kept playing the next play until we got to where we got the onside kick out of bounds.
Coming into this ball game, you're taking on a Sam Pittman coach team that, while they have speed, they're known as a physical squad. And it seemed like, at least in the first half, Coach, your squad was able to respond to that.
Yeah, I thought our guys played physical. I thought we ran the ball well in the game. I thought we did a good job of protecting the quarterback. You know, we did a pretty decent job on the run. The quarterback runs hurt us a couple times on third down, and I think that was the big thing. You know, the quarterback, how you have to play that quarterback because of the quarterback draws and the quarterback runs makes it difficult to play sometimes in the back end. You got to be able to play man-to-man. We got picked a couple times. We didn't do a great job of covering, but at the same time, it's things that players are going to learn from. There's lessons to be learned, and I think at this point in the season, we need to learn them because we're going to have to play a lot better in the future.
All right, Coach, let's get into those first half highlights.
To the left of his quarterback. Billingsley in motion, returns to the left of the formation. Here now, Bryce looks, throws the out route into the end zone. Mechie, he's got a touchdown, Alabama. He got the position on Monteric Brown, and 20 yards later, he receives a beautifully thrown pass, the 34th touchdown pass of the year for Bryce Young. Here's a 3rd and 2 from the Bama 15. Off the far hash mark, going left to right. Here's the snap, the throw near side. Catch is made, down the near sideline. Does he step out of bounds? No, he does not. Touchdown, Treylon Burks. So it's an empty backfield behind Bryce. He'll clap his hands, backpedals, has time here. Steps up, looks long. Jameson's got the man beat. He makes the grab at the 30. He's to the 20. He's to the 10 to the 5. Touchdown, Alabama, 79 yards. You can see that one coming as far out as about the 35-yard line. Jameson had both defenders beat, and Bryce laid a dime into his hands. On a 1st and 10 from the 32. Bama waiting. Bryce claps his hands. Loads up, throws across the middle. Williams, he makes the grab. He'll angle to the far side, 10. Turn it up the field, 5. And he'll roll further in for a touchdown. 32 yards. Bryce Young, Jameson Williams, touchdown, Alabama.
Coach, the game has changed so much. Numbers that look big tonight in the run game wouldn't have looked very big probably 5 or 6 years ago. But when Brian Robinson goes for 60-plus in the first half, that's huge.
Yeah, well, what it did was we started, in the beginning of the game, we struggled a little bit with their front because they're playing an odd front, they're slanting, they're doing things. But as our players kind of got used to it, we started getting a little push. B-Rob started making some really positive runs. Was very physical in the way he ran. And I think that was a real key because it creates positive down and distance for yourself. And against their defense, when you get behind the sticks, you're at a disadvantage because they take advantage of those situations and drop 8 guys, so it makes it more difficult to make plays. So Bryce was great because we were able to run the ball. I think that helped us, and I think the offense played very well in the first half.
24-14 the score at intermission. When we come back, we'll look at second half highlights here on the Nick Saban Show, presented by Truckworks.
The Nick Saban Show is brought to you by the University of Alabama, where legends are made. And by Coca-Cola. Together tastes better.
Coach, up by 10 at the break. What was the message for your squad?
Well, obviously, we knew we were in a tough game, but I tried to convince our players that this was going to be a tough game, for us, the way they play, how they're coached, both sides of the ball. So we knew there was no scoreboard. We knew we were going to get the ball first, and it was going to be important to reset the tone for the second half, which I think we had a pretty positive drive to start the second half, really nice drive. And then we turn around and give a big play up on defense right off the bat and let them get back to a 10-point game. So, but really at halftime, it was all about competing for 60 minutes in the game. And sometimes the halftime message, the players are giving them to me, and I don't have to give them to me, and that's a good thing because they get it. And they came out and played and competed really hard in the second half.
We're going to see all of that in these second half highlights.
He'll come in motion, goes to the right side. Bryce gets the snap, looks. Still has time, takes off running. He's to the 10 and unloads right side. Leary, he's in for a touchdown. Oh my, what a play. 11 yards. Taking all the time in the world was Bryce Young. Leary was there finally, made the grab. The holder is Reed Bauer. Here's a throw across the middle. It is caught by the tight end on a fake field goal, and he'll carry it in for the touchdown. Blake Kern. Bryce, high snap, gets it. Evan Neal picks up the blitz, long throw. Jamison Williams, touchdown Alabama! Jamison Williams, touchdown, 40 yards. He beat the defense like a blur.
42-35 the final score. Coach Bryce Young, wow, 31 of 40, 559 yards, a school record, 5 touchdowns as well.
Well, Bryce did a fantastic job in this game, no doubt. Not only did he have great statistics, he made some off-schedule plays where he scrambled and found somebody open, made some really good, third down conversions that kept drives alive, made some explosive big plays that were great throws on long balls to J-Mo. I mean, he really, really played well. But I think the whole offensive unit played well. I really do. We did what we had to do on offense. We had a really good plan. The players did a good job of executing it. And we found a way to win in the end, mostly because we got up 2 scores and made a 2-point conversion, and that was the difference in the game.
Forgive me for bragging on you for a moment, but I know you love consistency, and you've had that in your program, to say the least, 14 consecutive years now with at least 10 wins in the course of a season. That ties the record of Bobby Bowden, Florida State.
Well, I never thought of it that way, but there's been a lot of great players, a lot of great coaches here who have contributed to that, and that's pretty significant. That's one of the goals that we have, win 10 games every year. So to do it 14 years in a row, I think that's something that a lot of people deserve a lot of credit for.
All right, Alabama wins it again. The final score in this one over Arkansas, 42-35. Stay with us, though. We got a lot more coming up here on the Nick Saban Show.
The Nick Saban Show is brought to you by Tiffin Motorhomes, made to move you. And by Aflac. Get to know us at aflac.com.
Coach, what was the turning point for you in the game?
Well, I think when J-Mo catches the 40-yard touchdown pass, made a great throw by Bryce, but a great catch by him to hang on to it in the end zone. Planned to beat their, poach 3 deep, 8 drop coverage, which worked perfectly, and the players executed it perfectly. And then to get the 2-point conversion after that to make us go up by 14, made it a 2-score game, which I think was a real turning point.
Naturally, every position on your staff has to have qualified assistants. Understand you're a little picky about your secondary guys, though, given your background as well. Tell us about Jay Valai, who coaches corners.
Jay Valai is a great young coach. He's got great enthusiasm, very bright, does a great job of recruiting, has really good relationships with the players. So he's done a fantastic job for us, and he's been a great addition, to that group. Just in terms of camaraderie and development of players.
All right, Coach, let's go. Mercedes-Benz All Access with Jay Valai.
I'm originally from Euless, Texas, where I played football at College Heritage High School, myself with Christian Ponder. And after I got done playing football there, I actually went to the University of Wisconsin. It's a 2-time All-Big Ten guy. Played angry safety, loved the physicality of the game. Love being violent. I always tell guys the difference between physical and violent is intent, and I want to be very intentional with my intent. So it was an amazing thing to play football at the University of Wisconsin, and now I'm at the Mecca at Alabama. So I love, first and foremost, my family. I love hanging with my kids. I got a 10-year-old, a 5-year-old, and a 1-year-old. So get a little separation. Jayla, Jackson, and Kenny. And my wife as well, too, obviously. We're just hanging out with my family, watching movies, playing sports. And I'm probably the biggest geek of sports in general that you probably ever imagined, whether it's baseball, basketball, diehard Dallas Mavericks, Luka and Dirk forever, and Cowboys, and just in general across the board. I'm a big sports fan. Explosive hands! It's by God's grace, actually, got my start in coaching under the guy who learned his tutelage under Coach Saban, with Kirby Smart at Georgia. 2nd and 26 is going to stay in my brain forever. But I learned under Kirby, and Kirby was awesome to learn from him and Mel Tucker, 2 guys who obviously learned from, the GOAT, Coach Saban. And it's been awesome to now be here and see it firsthand as well. I was at Texas last year. Maybe could have stayed. We'll see what would happen. Didn't stay. Went to University of Houston. And I still remember Thursday night I got a call, and I got a couple of job offers after I was at Houston. And I took the job with the Philadelphia Eagles as the corners coach. And I was go fly Eagles fly. And then I still remember I get a call right after the Super Bowl from a blocked number. I'm like, who is this? Probably Coach Saban. I was joking around. I was in a hotel room, and it was Nick Saban. And then you have to make a life decision, and it was a tough decision for me not to stay in the NFL because, it's a place I do want to coach down the line, but to work with the greatest coach in maybe sports history and firsthand on a daily basis, and the knowledge, just seeing them, eye to eye, how can you turn that down?
Good. Pedal in between each movement. We pedal.
What's important to me is, number one, my faith is the number one thing for me. Secondly is my family, and then my job, which is what I love to do, which when your job's a passion, it's not really a job, but it's football, and I love it. I love everything I do. I love coming every morning. I love talking the game. I love the details. I just love it all, man. It's been the biggest blessing of a lifetime to be able to do a sport like this, play college football, to coach college football like this, to play college football like I did, and to wake up every morning, be a part of it. There's no bigger blessing in a lifetime. Be a part of a team. I think everybody in general, when you're young, being a part of a team is a special thing. I think sometimes when you get older, your mind starts going differently. It's like I'm working individually, but you're still part of a team. But just recognizing on a daily basis that you get to be a part of a team is a huge thing for me. It's a blessing for me as well.
Coach, time for our play of the game, brought to us by CB&S Bank.
Well, as you can see, we're in an empty backfield here, and the way these guys are going to play is they're going to play quarters on this side. This safety is going to relate to two. This guy's going to reroute first to the flat, and this guy's going to get in the box, all right, which is what we talked about before. But because we're in empty, this safety, who would normally play to the weak side, is now going to poach on number 3, Jalil. In case he goes vertical, he's got to take him. So he's going to read that. Now, a lot of times they'll leave this guy high, but when this guy comes down, they try to play slice coverage over here with the corner in the deep third, and he can't catch J-Mo. He can't catch him. All right, and by the time 15 poaches off of 19, he's got to take him vertical. 20's got him short. All right, it's too late. We run through the split. It's a great throw and a great catch and a good finish. So, you know, it's good planning on offense to break down their 3 deep, 8 drop, zone tight poach coverages.
The Nick Saban Show is brought to you by Trustmark. People you trust, advice that works.
Coach, we'd love to give you a chance to brag on some of your players, and this week it's Jameson Williams, and it's as if he knew what was coming up. He had another big game tonight.
He sure did. I mean, 8 catches for like 190 yards. That's getting it. And you know, he's played well for us all year. It's made a huge difference in our offense because he's got great vertical speed, which is what we really needed, you know, to complement the other players that we had. And you know, he's done a really, really good job. He's a great competitor. I mean, the guy plays on special teams. He'll do whatever you want him to do. I just love the guy.
We heard from him on the field. Now let's hear from him on the show. It's Jameson Williams.
Jameson Williams, a wide receiver from St. Louis, Missouri. Things were just unclear to me with everything at Ohio State. So after spring ball, I took a chance and entered the portal. Coach Saban was actually one of the first coaches to call me. And like, I was just thinking, like, why not go play for one of the greatest, well, the greatest college football. Let's take this chance and let's do it. It's been great for me at Alabama so far. I would say it's been great because I'm around a lot of guys with the same mindset as me, the killer mindset. And when we go at it at practice, I can see like, oh yeah, it's gonna be good in the game. Like we actually go good on good and help each other. The environment is just different. I love it. The environment, I would say the environment of the football team is actually a great thing because you can actually grab onto someone's energy and pull the next man on with how someone is playing, how someone is reacting on the field, how everything is going. So I would say my time, it has been actually a great time. In my head, that's like my mentality, the dog mentality. But I would say coming to Alabama and playing for Coach Saban and how things are ran, like how we play good on good, how practices everything, how I see how everything is going, like it actually made me more of a dog, and I love it, and I love Coach Saban for that. Like I would say like that played a real big part on how things are going with me right now, and I just love it. The fans mean a lot to me. I love the family behind the Roll Tide football, and I just hope things keep going well, and I'm thankful for every fan that praises us and me. I would just like to say thank you.
The Nick Saban Show is brought to you by Tiffin Motorhomes, made to move you.
Coach, we're going to have to tell everybody in this state what's next. It's the Iron Bowl.
Well, this is a great rivalry. You know, a lot of people in this state have passion for football. They have passion for their school that they choose to love. And, you know, it's always a dogfight when we go down there and play. I think it's a really important game for us to sort of carry some momentum into the SEC championship game and improve on some of the things that we talked about earlier that we need to get fixed on our team. So we have a lot of respect for them. they've got a really good team. I know Bo Nix got hurt, but they've got an adequate replacement for him who played against us last year at LSU. So they've got good players. They play with a lot of toughness. They're well coached. So this is going to be a challenging game for us as well.
Coach, thank you for the time as always. Congratulations on the win and the Western Division title. Alabama wins at 42-35. And we'll see you next time on the Nick Saban Show, presented by Truckworks.
The Nick Saban Show is brought to you by Coca-Cola. Together tastes better. By the University of Alabama, where legends are made. And by Trustmark. People you trust, advice that works.